Hey guys, this is Guy88, and welcome to Behind the LPs. On the last video of our series, I talked about Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which is my very first LP ever. It was a pretty good game. It was also good recording-wise too. So yeah, all in all, it was a pretty good game for my first time in doing LPs and stuff. But in this video, I'll talk about my next adventure, which is my most problematic, recording-wise anyway, but it's also very enjoyable still. And that game is Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance. So just like in my last video in the series, the Behind the LP series anyway, I'll be discussing various points to discuss to people my experiences on playing this game, on both actually playing it and recording wise, and all my likes and dislikes, and any of the problems I had recording and some possible improvements and some extra stuff as well. And oh boy, in this video I'll be talking a lot about the problems, because there are some recording problems that I did mess up on, and I really want to discuss those, but we'll get to those when we get there. So yes, I'll go ahead and start talking to you about my experience when I first played this game. Now, I don't know exactly when I first played Advance Wars. I know for sure that I did not play this on the Game Boy Advance when it first came out, but I did heard of it back then, and it sounded pretty cool. But then I eventually played it on an emulator, and I really enjoyed playing it, especially about all the strategies and everything, and about the characters as well. So yeah, I got into it. I did eventually stop when I got to the Green Earth missions. Yellow Comet. Now, I never made it to Green Earth. I think that's what I was saying. I don't remember why. I guess it was too hard or something. So, yeah, I pretty much stopped playing it after a while. Then I picked it up again, eventually, and I played it. Don't think I finished that at that time either. So, whenever I was doing it for the LP, I think that was the first time I actually finished this game completely. It's either that, or I think I remember that I reached Strum or the level before him, and I didn't finish. It was either one of those things. I know I didn't finish this game until I completed on the LP. But yeah, that's my experience. It was not too long of a discussion. Basically, I played this in an emulation form, and I liked it. And I wanted to go ahead and finish it as an LP, because when I do these LPs also, I like to also see how they end, because in some of these games that I played, I never actually finished. So I was very glad I finished this one. It wasn't very clean. It wasn't the most cleanest one because of the recording problems that I'll get to in a moment. But I was glad that I even reached the end. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, that's it for the experience. So now I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the goals in this adventure. As for the goals, entertainment-wise for these videos, the story goes is that I joined the military, and I was assigned to go to the Orange Star Army to help out Andy, Sami, and Max, the 3 COs that you have to control in this entire campaign. And we go up against the 3 other armies, and that's the Blue Moon, Yellow Comet, and Green Earth armies. And then after them, we have to go up against a crazy guy called Strum who wants to take over the world, so obviously we have to stop him. So yeah, that's basically how the goals for that one is, entertainment-wise. Now, as for the educational portion of it, in each mission in the campaign, I show you exactly where to move and such, so that you could be able to complete the missions as fast as possible with the least amount of casualties. That will also get you the S rank for each map. Now, unlike what I did in Advance Wars 2, where my main focus was to, as much as possible, get all the S ranks, here I'm kind of focused on that, but it was more of a secondary goal. My goal back when I was doing Advance Wars, just to get you through the missions as fast as possible. But if I got S rank, I was very happy too. And I remember that I did get S ranks throughout the entire campaign, except for the last level. And as for the tutorial ones, I didn't really count those. Oh yeah, and I know I have a feeling that some people probably did not want me to go through the tutorial levels, because you don't really have to go through that. but I did it anyway because I felt like it'd make the videos more complete if I did so. Yeah, and well, that's basically the goals there. I feel like I did accomplish them. Again, not as cleanly again because of the recording problems, and I can't blame it for that. And the other part I blame is myself because I was being lazy. Well, and when I was doing it the first time around, I just wanted to get through as fast as possible with the least amount of episodes. So yeah, I feel like I did complete it somewhat, but I know I could have done way better. So hopefully, I summarized all those parts that I had to cut in order to make the episodes shorter, in order to get through this faster. So hopefully, if you understand what I said, kind of, when I summarized them, then hopefully that would be enough for you to get through the level. Okay, so yeah, that's it. We're gonna just end the discussion on goals. Basically, I hope I explained it enough to get you through it. Probably, if you don't, then I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let's go on to the next topic, which is the recording setup. Okay, so not much changed from the last setup that I did with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, except that I had to use a different emulator, because this is obviously a Game Boy Advance game. The emulator that I used is Virtual Boy Advance, I believe that's what it's called. And it's a pretty good emulator. I use it to play all my Game Boy Advance games. And I recommend it if you want to find an emulator to record games on. Now, I haven't tried the other Game Boy Advance games emulators or whatever, so I don't know what they're like. But if you want a recommendation from me about which one to use, then I would say to use Virtual Boy Advance. Now, once again, I use Cam Studio, but now I'm going to talk to you about the problems with it. Like I mentioned in the last Behind the LP episode, I talked about how Cam Studios was probably good for short segments, like a NES game. Well, mostly I was trying to say is that for shorter episodes, like ones that are like less than 5 minutes, or well, the last time it was for last 5 minutes or a little over that, probably like 7 max, I think. Then it's all right. I think maybe actually you can even go 10 minutes, I think, and it'd be all right. But any longer than that, and then whenever you try to compress the videos, then it won't, and then it's just something wrong with the video and it's messed up. So yeah, that's why I don't like Cam Studio very much, and I'm trying to get a different one. So the way I was trying to work with Game Boy with Advance Wars is that the episodes are going to be way longer than what I did for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And then what I found out the hard way is that when I try to record over 10 minutes, the video doesn't want to compress. So what I had to do for this adventure and the adventures all the way onward for a while is that what I did is that I had to record the first 5 minutes of it and then record the next 5 minutes after that and then edit it together with Movie Maker. And it really looks kind of bad to see that there's an obvious cut. Now I use that cutting where the 5-minute cuts where I had to make the episodes shorter and I had to cut out a lot of stuff that I did in the missions. So yeah, I'll talk more about that during the problem section. But that's what I did there, and that's how I had to get around that. So yeah, I used Movie Maker again. Used headsets to record the audio. Yeah, all that stuff the same. So that's it for the recording setup. Yeah. Man, I really hate Cam Studio. I'm just gonna say that. I probably might say that multiple times, so just be ready for it. So the next section I'll talk about is the stuff that I like about Advance Wars. Now, as for the stuff that I like about this game, gameplay-wise, it's really good. It's a strategy game where you have to develop units from your bases, and you have to either capture the enemy's HQ or destroy all the units. Of course, back then, I really enjoyed destroying all the units because it leads to... Hold on. Destruction! Yeah! Destroy everything! Yeah, by the way, that's the only time I'm going to say all that stuff in my Behind the LP thing, because I'm trying to be more refined. Anyway, but yeah, you're going to take different approaches to doing missions. what I showed you in those videos is stuff you don't have to do. Of course, that's the preferred method because that gives you S rank and that shows you exact movements and whatnot. But if you don't want to follow all the stuff that I did, you can do it in a lot of ways. And then when you do, especially, it's more fun if you have like real people and you have to think about different strategies on how to capture their HQ and how to destroy their units. And also, all the CEOs have their own CO power, which lets you change. It give your soldiers more power, or it changes something in the game on your turn. So, how you use your powers and how you move your units, it takes a lot of thinking, and it's really fun that way. So it's fun alone when you have to go up against a computer. I don't remember how smart they are. I think they are not very intelligent because they attack your APCs. I don't know, that's a bad thing. I'm talking strictly about good things, but yeah, whether you play by yourself or play with a friend, basically what I'm saying is that it is a very fun game. Another thing I also like about it is all the dialogue as well. Yeah, they all say very cool dialogue. Yeah, very humorous. Oh, I just basically like changing up the voices. In this point in time, this is when I did a lot of voice work and freeform stuff, which I really enjoy doing. In this game, more so because there's less people I have to change up voices for. So, yeah, I really do definitely enjoy doing all their voices. Now, as for my favorite voices that I like to do, I'll talk to you about the pretty much close to the end of the video. But yeah, that's all the stuff I like about Advance Wars, and about why you should definitely get this game and play it. That and its sequel. The sequel's slightly is obviously better, but as for this game, if you just want to go back to the old times and want to see what Advance Wars was like and have one CO power instead of two, or all that stuff, you just want to go back to the basics for some reason, you could play this game again. But if not, just go play the sequel or the DS version. Anyway, that's all the stuff I like about this game. Now I'll have to talk about the stuff I dislike, which is not going to be a long section because I like this game and I don't really find too many flaws. But if I have to find some, well, I'll just go ahead and say it here. Let's see. The Strum battle. I think maybe I don't know. It's just really difficult because Strum's power. I heard that sometimes Strum's power can be a bit unfair in the campaign version. I think it's because he has greater attack and less defense. That's what I said. But it's kind of reverse if you actually have Strum and you're playing him in like the versus map or something. Then that's reversed. He gets more defense and less attack. Or I don't know exactly how that goes. Screw it. Fine. I don't want to do a dislike section. I don't have any real problems or anything that I've noticed. At least not in this game. There probably may be some slight things in the sequel, but as for now, I'll just forget it. There's no dislike section. I like everything in this game. There's just the main problem about it is just the way that I'm recording it, which I'm gonna have to go ahead and discuss here. So now I'll just go ahead and discuss the problems with recording-wise that I have with this game. Oh boy, where should I start? Now, I know the very first thing you people were thinking, if you actually seen all of my Advance Wars video, you know the number one mistake that I did. And that is that I did not get the credits for the game, and I didn't actually show you what they look like. And yes, that is still haunting me to this very day in my career as an LP making person. But man, I can't believe I didn't do that. It was I'll explain that in detail in a moment, but I'll talk about the list of problems before then. Now, I did talk to you about the 5-minute cuts and stuff that I had to do, and that resulted in having me to make my videos longer. Also, another reason, I did also do some more cuts too, because back when YouTube only allows for like 10 minutes or 11, I tend to get way over time doing that because the missions, especially the later ones, take me a very long time to finish. And yeah, so I had to definitely cut some stuff and summarize. So that's another reason why I had to cut, besides the 5-minute cutting thing. I had to do that anyway, but in order to meet the restrictions of the time limit back then, it got very annoying, and I didn't really know how I was going to handle it. So I really wanted to not make like 5 parts. That's what I was afraid that was going to happen. So I needed to cut an episode down to make it to one episode. And I feel like that's really not enough to explain exactly what to do. I know I did a lot better in Advance Wars 2 when I did that adventure and I showed you everything, even if it had to take like a bunch of parts. I think that was a better way to go than doing what I just did. But yeah, sometimes these missions will also be annoying too, because sometimes I have to follow a guide where it tells you exactly where everything goes, and sometimes the AI can be so random that they don't want to follow it sometimes. And some of the beginning missions, it's all right because the computers follow generally what is expected in the guide. But then when we get to battles like Strum, then having the guide is completely worthless to me. So I have to just do things my own way. It tells you generally what to do, and I do the same thing in my videos. But basically, it's kind of, yeah, you have to just do a majority of it yourself. And yeah, the Strum battle, that one to me is hacked way too much to bits that I really kind of wish I showed you everything in the Strum battle. Yeah, the Strum battles, to me, in both this game and the Advance Wars 2 game, I really probably wish I did more justice. I finished the Advance. I'll talk about that, well, how I defeat Strum again in Advance Wars 2. But I feel like I beat him way too fast. But I think if you try to fight him normally without trying to do what I did, yeah, it's very, very hard. At least that's what I've heard anyway, and I would believe them. And I'll explain why that's hard behind the LP in that one. But in this Advance Wars 2, in Advance Wars, I wish I showed you more of it, just to show you the hard way and how I exactly did everything. But back then I was really, really tired of having to restart that mission, so I like, screw it, just cut it, do whatever it takes, just send the episode out. And then, of course, there's other things too. Like sometimes, whenever Camp Studio, when we're trying to record an episode, sometimes Camp Studio can just mess up, just randomly, and that makes me have to record the entire episode again, or like I had to cut away the messed up parts of my video. So that's another reason why I had to cut. And also, there's also some missing episodes too, like in the Andy clone battle. I was messed up basically. That part was my fault, and the other one was my fault kind of as well for the credit stuff too. So basically, like, I didn't save the proper way, and my computer crashed. So I didn't want to go, and I already completed the level at that point. So I didn't. So either I had to like figure out a way to replay the level again, or just go along with it. So I just chose the second option. Oh man. So yeah, like I said, this is my most problematic one. I can't believe I had so many issues recording Advance Wars. And it was also partly of my own laziness as well. Okay, so I think this section ran a little too long. I think I'm going to go ahead and now start talking about the key pieces, that's the credits. I guess that's basically the same thing as the missing episode situation. My computer crashed and I didn't save properly at that point, and either that or I didn't want to fight Strum again. And really, could you blame me? Could you really go to that Strum battle again and try to complete it a second time just to re-record the credits? No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. If it were me now, I would go up against Strum again. I kind of had to do that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm done skipping ahead for Advance Wars 2. I have to just hold my tongue because this section is getting really, really long. Alright, well anyway, that's it. That's all I know of all the problems in this game. There's also some extra stuff that I should have done, but that's in the improvement section. That's it for problems. I think there's probably some more smaller things, but that's all the main stuff I want to cap off. Otherwise, I'll be talking for probably about like half an hour. So let's just cut it here. We're gonna move on to improvements now. Well, okay, I think I know the first obvious thing you're gonna tell me in the improvement section about what I should actually improve. Like, get the credits. Yeah, yeah, that's probably what I should do. It probably might take me having to play the entire game again. I don't know. I might be willing to go through it if you really want to see the credits. It's really not that big of a deal. If you see the Advance Wars 2 credits, it's kind of like that, only I think it was a slight projector thing. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about that. But if you really want to see the Advance Wars credits and you want me to go through it, then obviously I'll do that for you. Anyway, there's also some other, from what I've heard, there's also a thing after the campaign missions where Andy and Eagle go up against each other in a war room map place. I don't know. I've been juggling it for years if I want to show that off, and I kind of do, but I just really just haven't found the time and the motivation to do it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. Again, if you want to see that, if you want to see Andy go up against Eagle in that setting, then that's fine. We'll try to arrange something, of course. Now, obviously, I might as well. I feel like this is probably so bad recording-wise that I would be willing to go through and the entire adventure and redo it if I wanted to. Now I'm really not sure if I want to do that. I probably might, like if I feel like doing remakes of my adventure, which I probably should. Then this would be the first one to do. But yeah, there's just so many messed up things recording wise that I probably might willing to actually do that if I choose to. I think that's all the improvements. There probably might be more, but I don't feel like it because this is taking too long. But let's just move on to the extra stuff. Now I'll go ahead and tell you what my favorite voices I like to do. One of them is Grits. I like his voice because I like to that country accent that I did for him. I don't know if it's an authentic one. It's probably not because I'm not good at doing accents with my voices, but I do kind of like doing his voice. And also I like Strum's voice too. His takes some manual doing in order to get the right effect. Now I could do a little sample of it. I don't know. Should I? Should I? Ah, well, what the heck. Alright, I'll do something. Okay, so here's how I do the Strum voice. First, I put my hands over my mouth, like this, okay? Then I talk deep like this. Yes, this is how Strum talks. Yes, and yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm embarrassing myself a little bit, but yeah, that's that. Also, I'll talk about a little bit of one oddity. That's it for the extra section. Now, as for Drake's voice, I don't know if people like Drake's voice, and I don't really much either. It's because I haven't played the Green Earth missions. I think I probably made it once during casual playthrough, and I haven't really like established his voice that much. I think I'm trying to do way too many accents in that character. I would just do the general Green Earth accent thing, but talking like Spud a little bit, so it's kind of weird. I imagine. I try to do less of that effect in Advance Wars 2, but here I can understand if you don't tolerate it because I don't like it that much either. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the extra stuff. Now, before I go ahead and close off this episode, I'll talk about the rewards I got. Of course, I got a medal for my first medal was for here when I saved the entire Advance Wars world and helped out the Orange Star Army. I really like that achievement. Also, I'm going to go ahead and call Nail because I remember that she said she was going to make me like a lieutenant because I beat Strum twice now, so I should get that title. So I'm going to give her a quick ring. Oh, come on. She's not answering. Alright. Yeah, I guess it's because I thought it would be easy to call someone from the military. I mean, I do it all the time, right? I mean, we all do it all the time. Okay, sorry, that was embarrassing. Whatever, we're done with that bit. Now, let's just go ahead and end this, let's end this Behind the LP episode because this is very, very long now. Alright, so yes, I'll go ahead and end this.